In this example, you're going to learn the basics of how to use the process designer. So in this case, let's go ahead and create a brand new process definition. So we're going to go to actions and say create, and let's give um, the definition name as WF design. Once this window opens up, you should see the process designer. Uh, there are several parts to this designer. You have a toolbox on the left with all the different categories of steps. So you can expand, like for example, human tasks. You can see the various different tasks that we have in the product. You can also search here. So if you can search for task, and that will show you all the different task steps that we have, or you can search for any other step right from this search toolbox. We have the top menu above here, and this is called the design canvas. This is where you would drag and drop and build your process. So in this design canvas, you can put any number of steps, connect them together, and build your process. And then on the right hand side, what we call is the properties window. So if I click on a step, it will render the properties of that step. So let's go ahead and put another step here. I'm just going to grab one of the task steps, and I'm just going to connect the two. And if I click on this task, you will see all the properties of this task. You can fill this and save the step. So in this case, let me go ahead and enter, let's say task 1, and save this particular step. You will see on these properties, if you have required variables, they will show up in red. Here's a required property for this particular step. So let me go ahead and put that value back. Now it turns green. And in this design canvas, basically we have steps and connections. And if you click inside, if you click on one of the connections, you will see the various different properties and selections available. You can change the color of this connection. So let's change it to red. You can change the type of connection. You can say direct line. You can make it round. So you can see it looks round now. And you can have different selections based on what you have selected. You can also right click on any of these steps and you can duplicate a step. And you can also right click and say delete and delete the step. You can also have a whole bunch of steps selected. So for example, I'm just going to put a bunch of steps here and connect them together. So I'm going to say go from here to here. And you can also select, you can just draw a box around it and also say select and delete. You can also do undo and it will bring it back to you. Okay. You can also create a template out of this. You can say, I want to select this whole box and I can say, go ahead and save as template. You can give it a name. So I'm going to call this, let's say, my steps, or let's say, let's call this task steps template. And if you look at the bottom of the toolbox, you will see my template steps and all template steps. So I can go ahead and expand this by clicking on this, and you will see task template steps, and it will even give you a little preview of what that looks like. So I can actually go ahead and delete this. And keyboard shortcuts also work. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this by pressing the delete key. And you can just drag this now, and you will see that we have brought this from our template. And you can also adjust these, connections and all that stuff. So let me go ahead and delete this. If you right click and drag, you can move the design canvas. Okay. And if you have a very large workflow, what you can do is you can actually click on this show outline preview. This will give you a little outline view, and you can just move the box here also. The next on the menu, we have various different options. You can create an instance of this workflow and run it right from here. So you can say go ahead and generate and run. In this case, it didn't fail, it didn't pass validation because this particular step has some inputs that are not filled in. And so you can also save the definition. So it tells me, automatic validation tells me that in this particular task 1, I need to select route 2. So this task has to go to someone. So let me go ahead and select a user. And now if you go to the menu, we should be able to save this without any errors. So using the menu here, you can define variables, you can define globals, you can manage your business objects, validate the design, view unused variables or globals, and you can also manage your snapshots. There are other videos that will go more into detail on this. Some of these menu options. We have standard functions under edit like undo, redo, delete, comment, definition, comments, and search. You can save the definition. FlowWright Designer also has other settings where you can turn on to automatically save. And if you have autosave turned on, it will automatically save every 30 seconds if there are changes. You can also view some statistics. This will tell you number of steps, connections, last updated, created by, number of instances, a lot of detailed info about this process. You can get an index of all the steps. This will also give you easily navigate. So I can click on this step and it will also navigate. I can look at orphan steps. There might be steps that you have dragged and dropped but not connected to the process. You can look at those steps also by looking at the orphan step index. There's also options to turn on and off the grid. By clicking this, you can see that the background grid is turned off, and we can bring it back also. We can also go into page view, which is similar to how Visio looks like. So if you go into page view, you'll see a page at a time. And you can also expand this. It will turn into multiple pages. So let me go back from page view. We can also go into page setup and change it to landscape, grid size, and change a few things about the environment. And also we support standard keyboard shortcuts, things like Control C, Control V, Control F for search, Control X, Control S to save. So I can just press Control S and the workflow definition will get saved. You can also import globals, variables, steps from other definitions. You can also export this process design as a PNG, or you can export it as a standard format, which is XML. Under UI, we also have a few other UI options, things like you can align steps, you can zoom in and out, you can also do a layout flow where it will automatically take your process and arrange in a horizontal flow or a vertical flow. You can also do a layout tree where it will do a horizontal tree or a vertical tree or a radial tree. And then under organic, we have an organic layout or a circle layout. We can also print, send this design to the printer. And show hide tooltips, you can manage whether to show tooltips or not. So this is a basic overview of FlowWright's process designer. And using this designer, you can build any kind of process, whether it's low complexity or very high complexity processes. But we made the designer very user-friendly and very easy to use. Hope this video helps you to get an understanding of the FlowWright process designer. And We would like to see you build some amazing processes, automate some amazing processes using our process designer. Thank you.